from the cross and buried, that's more or less known. That's the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. This was identified by Queen Helena at the 4th century. Although the Protestants don't accept that tradition and say that the crucifixion place and burial is not there, but it's outside the Damascus Gate area in a place called the Garden Tomb, where we're going to go in the afternoon, and they are going to explain to you why they think that place is more appropriate than Helena's. I'll talk about that when we be in the church. From the 3rd station till the 9th station, we're not sure about the events, but they mark them and they say, 3rd station, the place where Jesus falls under the cross, under the heavy cross for the first time. 4th station, he meets with his mother who stands by and sees him walking. 5th station, a man named Simon of Cyrene helps Jesus carry the cross. This is mentioned in the Bible, just doesn't say where. 6th station, a woman named Veronica comes and wipes out the sweat of Jesus' face, not mentioned in the Bible, including the name Veronica, which is basically a traditional name. Comes from 2 words. Vera in Greek means truth, icon, image. The true image of Jesus' face came on that handkerchief that she used to wipe, and then that handkerchief might it wear until it's in St. Peter's Church in Rome, right? St. Peter's? Yeah.
Yes, I saw it.
And so that's a tradition. 7th century, 7th station, Jesus falls under the cross for the 2nd time. 8th station, Jesus meets the girls of Jerusalem who cries when they see him going up to the cross, and he says, "Don't cry for me, cry for Jerusalem," which is mentioned in the Bible. And then 9th station and on, all in the complex of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So that's when we go and we'll keep pointing. This is 1st station, 2nd, 3rd, and so on. You know more or less the events that happened in 1st station. And last, before we start Via Dolorosa, why would the Romans bother so much to take Jesus and go through the whole thing of crowns and purple gowns and heavy cross and crossing and carrying and walking through the city? Why not just take him in the courtyard of the Antonia fortress, chop his head off, and finish the whole story?
More dramatic, really, yeah.
From the Roman point of view, crucifixion was a public punishment. And so anybody who rebelled against Rome was supposed to be crucified in a public way. More than that. And this is a misunderstanding that lots of people find, they don't understand that. When Jesus was arrested by the slaves of the high priest and the Roman soldiers, the high priest would arrest Jesus, of course, because when Jesus comes to the temple and he starts chasing the people who exchange money and start chasing the people who sell souvenirs and do all sorts of commercialism in the temple, he's actually challenging the ways and culture of Rome, the authority of Rome, which was the way the temple was running was by the Roman culture. The high priest owed his position to the Romans. Last thing the high priest wanted is somebody who comes and create trouble in Jerusalem, which might have the Romans replace him, and then he loses the position, the power, the treasures of the temple, the money, the whole aristocracy thing. That's on the side of the high priest. On the side of the Romans, the last thing they wanted is somebody who would come and steal things, so that when Jews go back to their places, they'll take this news about this revolutionary in Jerusalem, and then the Romans would have another revolt going on all over the Roman Empire, so they were determined to finish this whole story very, very fast. And so when Jesus was arrested and brought to trial in front of the Jewish Sanhedrin at the house of the high priest, they accused him of blasphemy, of saying, "I am God," or other people said he is God. And then for the Jews, this is something that you need to be executed, because if somebody claims he's God, you execute him. That's blasphemy. But the Jewish Sanhedrin, even if they decided to kill him, did not have the authority to execute any punishment. Only the Romans had the authority to execute punishment. So when Jesus was tried and sentenced supposedly to death by the Jews, it was more symbolic, because nobody could really do anything about it. They took him the next day, brought him to the Roman commissioner and said, "Here, trial this man." And Roman commissioner Pontius Pilate would look at Jesus and say, "Okay, what do you accuse him for?" And if they would say, "He says he's God," Pontius Pilate would laugh loud and say, "So what? If he wants to be God, he can be God." There's tons of gods in Roman mythology. Anybody can be a god. Any Caesar is a god. So if you want him to be your God, it's fine. But if they would say, "This man says he's the king of the Jews," or "We think he's the king of the Jews," that for Pilate would be a reason to crucify him, because the Romans already appointed a king to the Jews. And if somebody wants to be king of the Jews, it means you rebel against Rome. And if you rebel against Rome, there's only one punishment in the Roman Book of Laws, and that is death by crucifixion, which was a punishment reserved for non-Roman citizens, because Roman citizens wouldn't be humiliated so much to be crucified. And so when Paul was standing to trial, they didn't crucify him, because he was a Roman citizen. He had the privilege to go and stand in trial for the Caesar and not in front of the Roman commissioner. And even if he would be sentenced to death, it wouldn't be death by crucifixion. So keep all those things in mind before we start doing Via Dolorosa, and then you understand when we go through the Via Dolorosa, the whole thing that happened from the beginning of the trial in front of Pontius Pilate to the crucifixion at the end. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Was being crucified upside down? Was
No.
bending
No, we'll talk
upside
about
down?
crucifixion when we get to the church.